Virat Kohli got another century. Rohit Sharma has entered the 10,000 run club. There are plenty of records that India can be very happy about. India also beat Pakistan in the with the biggest margin ever, and that's great. But Pakistan still is the #1 ODI team, of course, jointly. But are there any chances? And what will India have to do if it has to get at the top?
Well, Ketki, one thing is for sure, the race for the #1 ODI spot as far as the team rankings are concerned is really now hotting up ahead of the ICC ODI World Cup 2023, which, remember, will be played in India. This time it begins, it's around the corner now. It begins on the 5th of October. Now, India, thankfully, will play the maximum number of matches amongst the three teams who are fighting it out amongst themselves to be #1 ahead of the World Cup, and that's Pakistan, Australia and India. Currently, Pakistan and Australia are joint first, India are third. The good thing for India, like I mentioned, they play the maximum number of matches. Now, they're already in the Asia Cup final. If they win the title in the Asia Cup final, and of course, if Pakistan and Australia falter in their remaining fixtures, then India, of course, have a great chance of being the #1 team ahead of the World Cup. Also, very importantly, before the World Cup begins and after the Asia Cup ends, India and Australia will be playing a 3-match ODI series in India. So that, of course, also could play, of course, a pivotal role to decide which team makes it to #1. Now, India's upcoming fixtures ahead of the World Cup, of course, they play Bangladesh on September 15th. They play the Asia Cup final on September 17th against Pakistan. And then they play a 3-match ODI series at the end of September, 22nd, 24th and 27th against the Aussies, the men in yellow. Now, talking about Australia, they are, of course, joined first with Pakistan. Their current rating is 118, India's is 116. And the Aussies, everything said and done, perhaps are the front runners to be the #1 team at the beginning of the World Cup, despite the fact that they lost sole ownership of the #1 rank when they suffered a heavy defeat against South Africa in the third ODI, and that's how Pakistan became joint first again. Now, if Australia win their remaining 2 matches against the Proteas, that of course will strengthen their claim for the top spot. And of course, the result of that 3-match ODI series that they play at home at the end of the month against India, that will also could have a big role to play. Australia currently have as many as 5 ODIs left to play before the World Cup starts, 2 against South Africa and 3 against India.
And what about Pakistan? Are Pakistan going to be playing any more matches after Asia Cup?
Well, that's the thing. Pakistan, amongst these 3 teams, the only team that will not be playing any ODI cricket between the Asia Cup and the World Cup. They are also currently joined first. They have a current rating of 118, just like the Aussies. And Babar Azam and company really need to first, ensure that they continue their winning run in the Asia Cup, because that will, of course, strengthen their position. But the fact that they don't play any more ODIs against any other team between the Asia Cup and the World Cup is sort of a double-edged sword. It's not a good thing for Pakistan because they will not be able to get any more rating points, but it's also perhaps a blessing in disguise in a way, because if they do go on to, say, hypothetically win the Asia Cup title, they're in a strong position. And because they're not playing any more matches after that, they will be in a position to sort of sit back and watch Australia and India drop rating points in the series that they play, potentially, given if Australia, of course, don't do very well against South Africa and then against India, or the reverse, India doesn't do very well against Australia. So there's a chance that these 2 teams might drop rating points, whereas Pakistan, there's no chance of them dropping points, because after the Asia Cup, they play straight away.